turn to introducing you to our first session for today, which, as I mentioned, is second in our best practices sharing sessions, coming to us this time from Utrecht University. So the title is Green Office UU, Community Engagement in Sustainable Development on Campus. And it's being presented to us by two of the Green Office team, Justine van der Berg, who we've already met and who we know very well in the UNI-ECO project because she's a core member of that team. And Justine within the Green Office, she's the community coordinator or one of the community coordinators, which is part of the sustainability program team. And her focus is on reaching out to the university community to involve them in sustainability in the university. And Justine is joined by Lorenzo Margiotta, who is Digital Communications Coordinator in the Green Office. So I'm really looking forward to your presentation. So over to you both. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll just share my screen. Hi, everyone, to open the presentation. And then I give the word to Lorenzo straight away.
Hey, hello, everyone. I hope everyone can hear me. As we were so nicely introduced, I'm Lorenzo and this is Justine. We both work for the Green Office of Utrecht University. So I do digital communications, I handle the social media, newsletter, website, and Justine is our community coordinator and she deals directly with our community and new ways to reach out to the Utrecht University community and beyond. So yeah, today we would like to present to you some of the Green Office's, next slide, proudest achievements. Yay! So I'll start straight away with one achievement that we're very proud of, one of our best projects. It's called the Tiny Forest. So it was a sunny winter's day in 2019 when the planting of the Tiny Forest began. And we brought together over 40 university staff and students, many of which were part of our own volunteer list, to plant a total of 500 indigenous plants and trees on a plot on our campus, university campus, that was gifted to the Green Office for its 5-year anniversary. So the plot is flourishing a lot more and it's much, let's say, wilder than the way you see it now in this photo. And we hope for it to become a serious biodiversity hotspot for the campus in the future. Next, please. So that was an example, that was a very clear example of a project that we started ourselves using our own volunteer pool and maybe some staff that already knew about us and that also wanted to volunteer their time for this project. But we also collaborate with colleagues outside of our own university. For example, colleagues from across the streets, the Green Office Hogeschool Utrecht. So that's the University of Applied Sciences in Utrecht that has more of a practical focus and they share campus with us. And a great example of a project that we worked on with them that we're proud on, and actually we're still, the project is still in the works. It's called Precious Plastic. It's an open source concept that's used to upcycle plastic streams using self-built machines. So the templates for those machines are already in existence. Basically we brought together UU and HU people, staff and students, to work on this project together and use both of their strengths. So from the UU side, we put together UU groups and student groups that did theoretical research on hidden plastic waste streams in the university that nobody knew about. Well, that's why they're hidden, right? So they focused specifically on this very high number of jerry cans that was being wasted by UU researchers, even unbeknownst to them, because they thought they were actually preparing the jerry cans to be recycled, but due to a problem with the labels on the jerry cans and more administrative stuff, those jerry cans were just being thrown out. So there was a lot of waste, a lot of plastic waste that was being created from that. So this UU student group did a case study on this, and they decided that the best thing to do with these jerry cans would be to upcycle them into a usable plastic product. And we have Hogeschool Utrecht students working on building the machines as we speak. We already kind of have a prototype going that turns the plastic into a usable liquid that will then be molded into a product that will then be sold to student associations. So we're quite proud of this project, but it hasn't reached its end date yet. It's still in the works. Moving back to our own university, we are also quite proud of the projects that arose from collaboration within our own university with different bodies within our university. Because as you know, universities are very big institutions. Sometimes it's hard to figure out what other people are doing, and even harder to work together. But a project that we're proud of in this, or that exemplifies this, for example, is our bi-yearly Adopt a Plant events. So we partner with the plant shop in our university's own botanic gardens, because we have a plant shop there that doesn't have so much exposure. But twice a year, we organize an Adopt a Plant event with them that really attracts a lot of people. Of course, it's been put on hold. We've been able to do less of them due to COVID, but they have been quite successful in attracting new people. So it's more of a promotional event, because maybe besides trying to establish people's contact and relationship with nature, this is distributing free plants and also allowing the plant shop to get more exposure and maybe sell some larger plants in pots of its own. But this is a really nice kind of project that we have to increase our exposure and to attract new people during crucial times when people might want new baby plants to, let's say, accompany them during the winter, or when there are new students who want to make their rooms more livable, etc. Another nice example of a collaboration within our university is our collaboration with, I see that there are comments, but I assume we'll get to them afterwards, is our collaboration with the international office relating to the mobility of students and staff. Justine, if you could start the video. Sorry, I just realized I muted myself. I was muted. So if that video wasn't clear to you, this was a video promoting an initiative that we have where the mobility of students can be subsidized if they go by train or bus. If they go by train or bus, sorry, to their exchange destination, because over a quarter of admissions here at Utrecht University are caused by the mobility of students and staff, whether that's students going on exchange or staff going to academic conferences. So it was the International Office's initiative to start a project like this, and the Green Office was really keen to support them, spread the word everywhere we could about this project, to make sure that as few students as possible took the plane to their exchange destinations, while also maybe gaining a taste for this slower form of travel, while the university is also paying for it. And a last example of a proud achievement, together with the caterer of our university, they give us permission to use their catering, some spaces in the canteen. to set up a biannual thrift shop. As you can see, the biannual thrift shop is how many international students get in touch with the Green Office, because it's true, it does attract attention from especially international students, or exchange students, or people coming back from exchange, because every semester you have so many students going in and out of the city, either needing a whole new setup of pans, pots, bedding, and so forth, or students who have all these things and who maybe will end up throwing a lot of those things away. When instead, in the thrift shop, we offer a series of shelves that we clean up ourselves and that we organize ourselves to make sure that there's a kind of circular flow of goods between students of the university so that less things get thrown out. That was my part of the presentation, I believe.
All right, thanks, Lorenzo. So yeah, as Lorenzo told you guys, we do a lot of projects to engage the community, and we really want to be the central hub at Utrecht University where both staff and students can come to learn about sustainability and also their project ideas, so we can help them and facilitate them to bring it to reality. However, we didn't just get there one day, so that's what I'm going to tell you guys about our road to active community engagement. So first, let's go back to 2013. Early 2013, there were 2 green offices in the Netherlands at 2 other Dutch universities, but not yet at Utrecht University. Utrecht University didn't really have much with sustainability in general at the time. The only thing that we had was a project group sustainability, which consisted of 3 staff members. They all had their own work, and on the side of that, they were in the project group sustainability. However, a lot of students weren't happy with this. They thought way more had to be done. So small initiatives from students started popping up, committees, projects, etc. Everything without a budget or without a university contact. So at some point, the project group sustainability picked up on that and thought, okay, hey, here's something to be done. And they just, knowing about the existence of a green office, they decided we want to set up something like that as well. So that's what they did. And then in October of 2013, we got our first, the first version of our green office. It was with a very small team, only 3 people, a business strategy that wasn't all that good, to be honest, and office that maybe, as you can see, was scrapped together from thrift shops, furniture, etc. This outlook was very inviting for students. They would love to come in, brainstorm with us, have lunch with us. We even had them napping on the couches in between lectures. But for staff members, it wasn't as much of an inviting space to be in. Also, the business strategy needed some rework, which started happening quite soon after. And also, to be honest, from the second the green office opened its door, it started changing and never really stopped changing either. But I'll get back to that later as well. So there was a big change in our network in 2015, because then the sustainability program team was founded. So just to show you a bit what the difference is, because the green office and the sustainability program team are 2 separate things. We both fall under the university corporate offices. However, the green office really looks down at the community and works with the community to empower them, to raise awareness, and to look at sustainability in education. While the program team is really there to assess the sustainable development of Utrecht University. They work on the sustainability policy of the university. They release a yearly monitor also to show what is being done. So there's a lot of working together. Officially, the Green Office falls under the program team, but there's a lot of working together, and we complement each other quite well. So that's just to say that it's 2 different things. However, with the sustainability program team, there came a lot more of professionalism in it, because it was really then that we got even more embedded in the university structure. So our network of staff members increased significantly, and therefore it was also time for the Green Office to start scaling up, which leads us to 2017, the grand opening of our new and also current office. This, maybe, I don't know how much you can see it, it's still quite a creative space, but definitely more of a work environment. We did have to say goodbye to the napping students on their couches, but the location was way better, and this way we could make much more impact and reach many more people. So in the end, it definitely helped us grow. So as I maybe mentioned before, in the 8 years of the Green Office, we have never been the same for more than 6 months. It's been one big trial and error. We started somewhere, we hit a wall, we tried again with a different strategy and saw how far we could get. So on the road to all the great projects that Lorenzo mentioned in the beginning, there was also a lot of things that didn't work. There were barriers, too many to count and also to tell you right now. However, there are some lessons that we learned from it and that we try to apply now in the things that we do, which I'll take you through right now. First of all, a big lesson is to invest in your community. In the beginning of the Green Office, we always worked with volunteers, but the contact was quite loose. It was kind of an email at the beginning of their volunteer year, like, here is what we want from you, good luck. And then we just noticed that a lot of students or staff members just dropped out because they didn't feel involved. So we really learned to organize events for the volunteers to get to know them as the Green Office, but also for the volunteers to get to know each other. So to really build that community and make sure that there's more for them to bond over than just the project they're volunteering on. That way they really feel invested and they can truly also make an impact and they feel more involved. And you create a stronger community because of it. Second, set clear boundaries and stick to them. Because we're a hub for students and staff, we get so many great ideas coming in and new research and everything. And in the beginning, we wanted to do it all because it's all cool, but we really learned to set boundaries, because if we pick up everything, then we don't have the capacity to complete everything. So this is also still a work in progress, and it's definitely something that's not just done in an instant, but it is really important to set boundaries and to know your capacity and to stick to that, so that the project that you do pick up are done well and completed. Then the third one is also, well, they're all important ones, but I think this one is a very, very important one, is to find your people and don't make them find you. So one thing, the projects that we discussed in the beginning were all very successful, so we did them again, but we've also had projects that weren't as successful, and one big barrier in that is that we couldn't step outside of the sustainability bubble. We didn't really reach those that weren't that interested in sustainability in the first place. So what we learned from that is to organize projects in places where people will find themselves regardless. So in cafeterias or during introduction weeks or outside buildings at busy times, or just so by inserting ourselves into locations where people will be, regardless of whether we are there or not, we reach people that wouldn't go out of their way to go to a sustainability event. And that's where you make the impact, and that's where you expand your network and kind of reel in those people and get them to get into sustainability. And then finally, it's important to build a strong and flexible core team. The university community is very flexible. It's a fast-paced environment. Every year new students come in and students go out. Staff is a bit more stable, but still very much changing always. And also the field of sustainability is ever changing. So you can't be stuck in your ways. There's always, you need to check, hey, are the goals still aligned with what we want? Is the community happy? What's happening in sustainable development of the university? And really make sure that that goes hand in hand and that you're not afraid to switch things around when you feel like it's necessary. And then also a strong team is very important. We work, our team is all employed by the university. There's other green offices and that have a board. So every year the board changes, but we noticed that with a strong core team, it's more of a stable increasing line of impact, because with a board year, you have a little stagnation at the beginning of the year because you're getting familiar, and we don't have that. And we can really, build on the longer ideas and visions, and also get people to start recognizing us so that, they feel more comfortable coming in and having a chat with us. So now all of this and all these lessons learned have brought us to our current structure. So there are three kind of pillars that we do: community support, impact in the organization, and integrating sustainability in education. And these all have little sub-teams. So I myself am a community coordinator, so I'm in the little blue box. And then there's the communications team where Lorenzo is. And then we have the management team, which is very necessary to make sure stuff actually gets done. And then again, to show that the sustainability team is a different team from us, but we work together. It's also, we put it at the side because we are in contact with them a lot. So when COVID started and lockdown hit here in the Netherlands, we really scaled down what we did. We decided against organizing a lot of online events, but instead really looking at our current strategies and if that still fit, and started writing a new business strategy, which is resulted in Go21, Green Office 21. And these three things you already saw on the previous slide. So these are kind of the goals and what we want to do. We want to keep empowering the community. We want to keep raising awareness through projects and campaigns, and also start supporting the integration of sustainability in education, so that no matter what you study or no matter where you're located in the university as a staff member, that you will start learning about sustainability and know how it affects your job or your study or your field. Yeah, in the future, moving forward, we will keep running mostly into walls, but hopefully also in a good direction every now and then. And most importantly, we'll keep going. And I also very much invite all of you to check in with us in 6 months to see how much of everything I just told you has changed by then, because I'm sure it will have. So yeah, that's all from us, and we're really excited to hear questions. Yeah, thank you for your attention.
Thank you.
Thanks very much, Justine and Lorenzo. Can you stop sharing your screen?
Oh, yes, I can. Yes.
Wonderful, wonderful. So we can see you back again. That was fantastic. Thank you for such a brilliant presentation. And we got an insight into some of the very successful projects from Lorenzo, and then that pathway through how the journey of the Green Office and the work together with the sustainability program. Fantastic. And because that's, I suppose, so valuable to the UNI-ECO project. And I'm speaking from Trinity's perspective, we're on that journey, and we recognize some of the early steps you talked about in that journey, especially the linking the bottom-up initiatives into the structures of the university, which I think is so important, and that you see that in your example as well. So we'll be taking great inspiration, I think, as we now plan to move forward into a Green Office model. The example from Utrecht is really important to us. So thank you very much. And it will be important to the whole UNI-ECO project and to the advice that will be given out. And for everybody, just to know that the summer school 2022 will be in Utrecht. So we're all looking forward to seeing the example in person. So Lorenzo, you mentioned there were some comments coming in, and right, we will get to them now. So just to summarize some of the comments that came in, Michelle commented on the precious plastic project, that we also have a precious plastic initiative in Trinity, and it's great to know where it started. Mary commented about that she loved the Adopt a Plant initiative. So let's turn to the questions again and see what's coming in on the chat. Ismail asks, what are your thoughts on developing sustainability approach for a country like mine, where we have a population of 220 million and literacy rate is only 55%? What can be the initial steps to engage and raise awareness among community? So I suppose we're talking about a bigger challenge there. So what kind of advice would you give?
What a question. That's a great question. I also want to say first, by no means am I an expert on this, because I think that's a very, very difficult thing to get started on. The thing that maybe comes into my head is to keep it, start small and not start by explaining sustainability as the hugely difficult and complex situation as it is, but maybe start with the idea of, hey, this is what is happening in maybe local communities or in the country, and start by saying, here's small impacts you can do, and kind of introduce communities to sustainability and sustainable ways, kind of step by step, and then start make it bite-sized, so that at some point you can kind of start scaling up and linking to the bigger processes, but maybe make it concrete. That's, I think, something that's very important always to do. But Lorenzo, maybe you can also add some a bit of insight.
Yeah, I don't know if the Green Office prepared me for that question, but just
Yeah.
my own personal feeling, I would say, yeah, make sustainability more tangible with regards to what people actually experience in their daily lives. So if you're talking about a very populous country with a relatively low literacy rate, I would guess that a lot of people are work in agriculture or might be farmers. So yeah, environmental like climate change would be so yeah, and if it's not maybe it doesn't have to be measured. Wow, difficult question. Sorry. If you can't share measures, if the environmental impact is so low anyway, so negligible anyway, then maybe the focus can also be on not teaching people to not glorify like a high consumption-based lifestyle, for example, because maybe a very poor person might look up to that. Like I'm in Kenya right now, actually, because I grew up here, and I feel like a lot of poor people also really look up to certain lifestyles, and they really want to get there. So maybe I would say show the flip side of that, and what a very high consumption, polluting, way of society will affect your climate and your agriculture. But this is very big, so yeah, Green Office didn't prepare for this. This is for my own.
Yeah, no. Well, thanks, Justine and Lorenzo, for tackling such a big and important question. You know, I suppose that's where we need to be talking about these things. And I suppose for a hopeful note, remind you of a point that Michelle made in her talk yesterday about the tipping point, and bringing 5% of the population, engaging them, gives hope. So yeah. Now there's a question in from Victoria in Aelta, and Victoria wants to know about the budget for the Green Office, if it is provided or if you have to raise your own money.
It's provided, because the Green Office is really part of the university corporate. I keep forgetting the English word for it, but part of the university. So we have a budget allocated, and we can decide ourselves kind of how we distribute this in the different parts of our team, or the different topics, I guess. But yeah, right, Lorenzo?
Yeah, we have a budget, and we're all on the payroll of the university. So I think even for the Netherlands, we have one of the more generous, or you generously funded. I mean, I don't know how generous it can get, but one of the more generously funded Green Offices in terms of staff costs. And well, I don't know how big our budgets for projects are relative to other projects, but anyway, we don't have to do our own fundraising, except maybe convincing the university what we do is meaningful for it.
Well, a related question has come in, but first just to mention that Mary has put in some useful comments there about how to tackle the big earlier question. But there's a question from 99559 who wants to know if all of the universities in this network have a Green Office. And just very briefly to sum up for you, we all have different models, and we all have sustainability initiatives in one way or another. But I think the Utrecht model of a dedicated office, I believe Utrecht are leading the way in that. We don't have such a joined up model. And as I mentioned, Trinity is moving in that direction. And I think that's what's very good about this project, is that we're all at different places in our sustainability journey, and we're learning from each other. And because of that, we can give examples to other universities as well. So not everybody, everybody's starting at a different point. So I think that's really important. I might then wrap this up because we're starting the other session in 3 minutes. So just to give a breather for the next session. And thank you again very much, Justine and Lorenzo, so valuable to the project. And Michelle's going to be chairing the next session. So when we come back at 13:35, great, Michelle, we'll be Michelle will start that off and chair Green Challenges session 2. Thanks very much.
Thank you for your attention.
Thank you.